The SEC announced its projected order of finish, according to the media. It was present at Atlanta and decided to send their picks in. I forgot to do that, so did Matt. That's okay. We had plenty of people there to send them in. Texas picked to win the league. LSU finishes fourth. Let's talk about it with Preston Guy from TigerBait.com. Joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Preston, how are you?
Right, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
It's going well. Let's talk about that predicted order to finish. LSU picked fourth behind Texas, Georgia, and Alabama. How do you feel about it?
I like it. I mean, that's about probably that's fair. I think being behind Alabama is the one where I kind of question that. But again, Alabama beat LSU 42-14 last year, so I mean, you can't feel too bad about it. And the one thing I'll notice is every other team behind LSU, there's a substantial drop off. LSU got 20 votes, and I believe next was maybe Oklahoma with 5. So it's certainly telling that LSU is among the top in the pack in the SEC. And, after LSU, there's a big drop-off. I think it means LSU is considered one of the contenders in the conference.
Yeah, to your point, LSU with 20 points there. South Carolina was next with 5, and Oklahoma with 3, which was what you were thinking of there. And that was essentially – consensus is a strong word. That means everybody agreed, but that was a strong majority in Atlanta. Was like, yeah, there are 4 teams, and then there are the other teams. Do you kind of feel that way?
Yeah, I think exactly that, and it's fine. I mean, I think it's a fair rating for LSU. Obviously, what matters most is what to do on the field, but when it comes to LSU having special seasons, very rarely are they picked number 1 preseason in the SEC. But they very rarely come out of nowhere either. So you definitely want to have that recognition that you're among the top teams. What I take greater issue with is Lenore Stellers getting first-team QB and Nussmeier getting third-team QB. I'm sorry, second-team QB. When I saw Nussmeier's second team, my first reaction was, oh, those son of guns, they put Arch Manning number 1, didn't they? But they didn't. To their credit, at least they went with the returning starter at number 1, but I think college football's leading returning passer just linked to his first-team SEC.
I think that I was a little surprised at Nussmeier on second team. I was also pleasantly surprised that Caden, Durham, and Aaron Anderson were both on the second team. How'd you feel about that?
I think that I guess my first reaction was, man, there's not a ton of returning running backs in the league this year. But, I think that both those guys showed promise and poise. I think Caden Durham, being hurt as often as he was. I think he ran for 750 last year. I think that there's a lot of promise and potential that people see in those players. I will say this, LSU got the second and third team return specialists, which I thought was pretty funny given LSU is only going to have at least one punt returner back there. So nice to see, Xavier Thomas and Darian Brown get that honor.
Yeah, I mean, those guys have been great returners in the SEC previous to coming to LSU, and then Thomas had one big play last year. I'm scrolling through, and I'm curious. I was wondering what people would do with Harold Perkins, and they settled with putting him on the second team. How'd you feel about that?
Fair, more than fair. I would have thought third team would be fair for him, given when in his career has he been a consistent every game elite player? And the answer is he hasn't. It's been 3 years. He's been hurt. He's been out of position. He's been, essentially at his best, he's been used as a utility player. Now, I think that on pure potential, I think he's got as much talent as anybody in the league on defense. But it just has to eventually show up on the field. So especially for these preseason things, I get a little mad when you go too much on the potential of a player. It should be more about what they've accomplished. And I think that where they're ranking him is more than fair given, what he's accomplished versus, his talent level.
I look at the defense, first, second, and third team, not an LSU Tiger to be seen in the secondary. It's just a wild thing to look at.
It is, but, you're talking about this era of portal guys.
Yep.
It's hard to project that a guy transferring in from somewhere else is going to be a star, all SEC type player. Mansour Delane is a guy who was all ACC, but I think that these writers are a lot like me in this respect, that they have a lot of hesitation about putting too much hype from a guy coming from one of the lower tier Power 4 conferences to the SEC, because we've seen it's the Jonathan Giles effect. A Bolitnikoff finalist at Texas Tech and could barely touch the field at LSU, had to change his numbers mid-season. He was so bad. Until that story doesn't exist anymore, I think that writers will have that same hesitation seeing an ACC guy or even a Big 12 guy coming to the SEC.
LSU, and kind of a straw poll that I took in Atlanta, was the most pronounced team out there. They spoke with the highest aspirations, and it was a different feel than the other 15 teams that came. Do you care about that at all? They were talking about competing for championships and winning a national championship and this and that. Does that do anything for you in July?
Well, it doesn't surprise me, Hunt, because of how polished Brian Kelly is in this regards. I mean, he's very political in his approach. Even in a few conversations I've had with him off the record, just kind of shooting the,
Yeah.
He's very political and poised, and that rubs off, that reflects in his team. That's a good thing. That's one of the reasons why you hired him to be the adult in the room for your football program, which was very much so needed in tone shift for your program. I think that's reflecting with the players. I think Nussmeier is as likable and as poised as they come. That shouldn't surprise you, given his pedigree being Doug Nussmeier's son. Whit Weeks is out there, very polite and polished. And Chris Hilton is the one, I'll say. The maturity and poise and the fact that coaches felt he was a good representative of the program, given how much has gone down in his career and how he hasn't been able to be reliable on the field. I think if anything that you're going to translate from media day translating to success on the field, that's the one I think might actually translate to success on the field because of what it means for him, not having been on the field consistently, missing time, questions about, well, is this truly an injury or is there some maturity issues? Is there something going on? Just questions that we don't know the answer to. Well, I think it's pretty indicative that coaches do have a lot of faith in Chris Hilton to go out and be not only, a productive member of this team, but a leader on this team. That to me is the one eye-opening thing that I saw.
We just got word that Dan Borne is stepping down after 38 years in Tiger Stadium and 36 in the Assembly Center. You got a reaction to that?
Dan is a great guy. First off, legendary voice, iconic phrases. We all know about that. I'll tell a quick story about Dan Borne. I like my stories from when I was an unknown intern in the SID. Didn't really matter to anybody. Nobody knew my name, right? And I interned with this girl named Ellen there. And he had a manship school shirt on, which is the mass communications school there, the journalism school for fans not involved with all that. And Ellen thought it was just the coolest shirt ever. He's like, oh, well, they gave me this. Let me see if I can get you one. And she just stood there thinking it's the coolest thing. About 30 minutes later, he kind of realized, I don't think I can get you one of these shirts, sweetheart. But I'll tell you what, you can have this one. And he gave this just unknown intern literally the shirt off his back because she thought it was cool. I was like, if anything reflects a man's character, how about literally ripping the shirt off your back for some, not important person, some intern, like I was back then. Anyways, that story will always stick out to me about Dan. Very sad to see him go. I did have to check up, and this fall he's retiring immediately. So LSU will have a new voice. I wonder if they go Bill Franquez, seems like the pick there, or if they go with a more permanent guy. I know Bill has a lot of other responsibilities.
He does. He's got a lot of responsibilities in June in Omaha, but I think in the fall he's pretty free. He did it last year and did a great job. So we'll see if Bill does it again. At the end of the release that LSU sent out, it said that the search for a new it says a search for the next LSU football and men's basketball PA announcer will begin immediately, is what it says in the press release. So we'll see what that means. It's a little bit late to try to get one for football, but I guess they theoretically could do that in 6 weeks. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, maybe Hunt Palmer throws his name in the ring.
That's not likely to happen. I don't think anybody wants that, and I don't even really think I want that. I'm good in the press box doing a little pre and post game show with Big Fave. That's a little bit more my speed, so we'll stay in our lane on that perspective. But I appreciate it. Have a great weekend, Preston.
All right, talk to you soon, man.
Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.